Okay, so this problem is very much like problem number 10 in the book and sample problem B. But you have a dog that's pulling with a force of 5 newtons, but it's at an angle. Okay, we've done this before with velocities, we've done it before with displacements, and now we're going to do it with a force. So this dog's force is shared. If this is the didn't have my pen. Okay, let's try this again. This is the pillow. The dog is pulling on the pillow with 5 newtons of force. That's force applied. And the angle is 37 degrees above horizontal. Sorry if that hurt your ears. Above horizontal. And so we have to find the x and y components of the force. And so that means we've got this triangle. We've got this 5 Newton force. We have this angle that we know. And so the 5 newtons is being shared. We're not, all 5 newtons aren't effectively pulling this pillow sideways. 5 newtons isn't picking it up. It's split. And so we want to find the force in the x direction and the force in the y direction. For the y direction, you have the opposite side from the angle. So this is opposite, and you have the hypotenuse. Opposite and hypotenuse, you use sine. Sine of theta is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. So you multiply by 5 on both sides. Sine of 37 is equal to the force of y. So I guess going to be 4 probably. Right, wrong. This one's 3. Okay, 3.009. 3 newtons. And the force in the x direction, that's the adjacent side, so we're going to use cosine. Cosine of 37 is equal to the adjacent over the hypotenuse. 5 cosine 37 is the force in the x direction. So the x portion of that force, 5 cosine of 37, I think that one's going to be 4. And it is 4 newtons. So from that, if we know the mass of the pillow, we have force, we have mass, we can determine accelerations. We can determine acceleration in the x direction, and we can determine acceleration in the y direction. Assuming there's no friction, we know all the other forces. Okay, so just a piece of the puzzle is being able to take a force like this and split it into its components. Now let's say that there was another force of 3 newtons here, and there was a gravitational force of 7 newtons. Okay, these are up and down forces, so we would have to take the 3 newtons we had from the y force, add 3 to it, and then subtract 7. Those are all up and down portions or up and down forces, and you would get -1 newtons, which would mean it was accelerating down through the ground, maybe. So this is the kind of thing we'll do moving forward. Split forces up, look in the x and y directions, and then maybe put them together to find an overall force or an overall acceleration.